many more folks have come to understand some of the injustices that have been visited on certain communities too frequently, but that have not been seen by everybody. And with with cell phones and everybody having a camera and a recording device in their pocket, there are things that get captured now that galvanize, right? When we think of the historical moments that have galvanized, whether it be in the area of policing, or we think about the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, the march and the beating with Sheriff Jim Clark that led to President Johnson going to the floor of a joint session of Congress and announcing that he was sending a voting rights bill that would become the Voting Rights Act to Congress. It was these images that captured and showed everybody what many people had been living and known, but until there was the visual proof, people didn't need to grapple with it broadly. People didn't need to reckon with it broadly. It was disproportionately borne by some. And I think that there's a bit of a through line of the visual evidence. It's one thing to hear about injustice, but when you see injustice with your own eyes, when you see violence that is untethered and not being used in a way that the law authorizes only to maintain safety, as opposed to meting out some extrajudicial type of punishment. When you see that, it attacks everybody in a visceral way, and you get proximate to the unfairness. So I think right now, as we wait for this verdict, there are many companies that part of what they are doing is thinking about what types of communication should they have, because these issues actually affect some people in some very visceral ways. It affects productivity. Many people are thinking about their family members. What are the risks for them and their kids or children? What is it like to walk in the country as an Asian American person right now in the face of the violence that senselessly is being directed in the nature of hate crimes at people walking down the street for no reason other than animus? These things are very palpable. And so I think some of what we need to be doing is to understand that these events do affect people, and that not everybody is able to go on and sort of punch the clock in the way that we have expected and be as efficient as they might be, because they take a toll, right? When you're seeing them on the news, when you're having to talk to your kids about it, when you're worried about your partner, your mother, your daughter, your father, these are issues that become very real. And if the justice system doesn't have a pathway, if the justice system doesn't deliver what many people would perceive a necessary corrective for unchecked power or violence directed at some disproportionately, like George Floyd, and over the weekend, and last week, we've heard about others, right? One just miles from where the trial is happening in a very heartbreaking, another use of violence against an unarmed person. When the law doesn't answer these things, it affects us in a very serious way. And so I think part of what companies need to be doing is thinking about what are their wellness plans? What are the things that you can be saying that recognize